Mrs. Carolyn G. Paul.
Well, first, she asked me, do you want the baby?
My birthday coming up. My birthday coming up.
We're back for the conclusion of this great interview with my mother. And this part 2 is a little bit more about me as I approach a birthday, but a lot more about my family as she tells all. Let's continue.
What are the top 2 things that come to mind across my life timeline?
The first one, when I heard you preach your first sermon.
Oh, okay. That's another, listen, that's another highlight. You know, that's 25 years coming up.
And
wow.
I was really excited when you were able to go to college, because I looked at you as someone who wanted to go to school.
That's true.
But I had no money.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You didn't. Y'all didn't. You're right. That's right. So you mean from high school to, okay. Shout out, go Cougs, U of H.
Yes. And, you know, there were times when, I mean, you were in everything at school. And I don't want to drive her there for this and everything. And one day you told me, Mama, some of these people are going to give scholarships. And if I'm not there, I'll miss out.
I said that?
Yes.
Oh, that was good.
Yes, it was, because it was an eye opener for me. And I remember.
Oh, that was good.
The night you went to, they had something at school, it was pouring down raining, and Paul drove you. Mm-hmm. And you came back and you said that you had applied to go to U of H. But there was a $25 application fee that I did not have. And they waived it.
Oh, praise the Lord. I'm glad you remember these things.
Oh,
I don't remember.
I remember everything. I remember everything.
Oh, that's good.
And
well, you know what? Hold on. I got to pause here, because that's really, really good. I just want to say to somebody who, especially this is graduation season. This is a time where a lot of students who are moving from high school to college, hopefully, they're hoping, they're praying, they're looking forward. Number one, parents, do not despair. Encourage everything you can. Be present, show up. But you know what? $25 was a lot. There may be some people who have less than that or struggling, right. But ask those questions. I believe in asking for everything I want. So ask to have it waived. Ask for a favor. That might help.
And trust me, she will ask.
I do ask for everything I want.
But I admire that in you.
Have I always been like that?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
You know, you, I don't know if you remember me.
I forget stuff about me, so go ahead.
Right, you forget a lot, but I don't. I could write a book. But I remember you looked at me funny one time because I told you, I want to be like you when I grow up. Oh. And the look you had on your face was, now she's the mama. Why is she saying when she grow up? And then there were some times when I think you felt like you'd be trying to tell me something and I wouldn't be listening. And I probably did tune you out a lot. Yes, I had to. But you amazed me.
Wow.
And then I'm saying, this is my child. You know, and when people say, oh, you did a good job. No, I didn't. God did it. And that's the way I felt.
Wow. Praise God. So for now, coming upon this major milestone birthday, you laugh, but can you believe it? Because I still look in the mirror and I'm like, what? That's why I say I forget a lot of things, because I'm always in the moment and I kind of move along, but I come back, I reflect. But of course, there are things that you see from a different lens, different perspectives, so you'll hold it differently. But
you know, when I worked at MD Anderson, I had a supervisor, because everybody's sitting around talking about their kids and everything. And so I say, I got one who's book smart. I've got one who's just silly, but I count on him to make me laugh. And I got one I clash with every time because I'm told we are so much alike.
And you probably talk to him now more than anybody.
And
I know.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes. And I actually listen to him because he makes a lot of sense sometimes. But my supervisor said, well, you say you have one that's book smart. I said, yeah, but I don't know. I'm wondering what happened when they issued out the common sense. And I'm going to say this because one Sunday morning we trying to get ready for church. The telephone rings. My oldest son answers and he says, Mama, go over there and tell those people at U of H to kick Keisha out of there. And I'm thinking, what's going on? She called here, want to know if she could press a leather skirt. I said, tell her yes, stick the iron to it. And that was the end of the conversation. But my supervisor told me, no, she does not lack common sense. Things y'all pay so much attention to.
Right.
She doesn't.
Right. Who is that supervisor? Where is
You
that
remember
person?
Bob? But
Man.
He didn't know you.
No,
And I
that's
told him,
very
I
true,
said,
though.
but Bob, you don't know Keisha. He said, no, but I know me. And that's just the way I was. He said, and I was smart in school.
Some stuff just don't matter.
And
It just doesn't
that's
matter.
just, I say, okay, I'll accept that.
So I have to, okay. So you saying that, I have to jump forward because somebody now in my life laughs about certain things. I need to know this is, okay, y'all ready? Here we go. So what did you think when I finally told you that I was dating?
Oh my goodness.
Don't laugh so hard.
Oh no. Oh yes, I'm laughing hard. And I'm thinking, oh, you know, and actually the way you saw, you just wanted us to meet him.
Right.
And then you asked me, you said something about, no, we fast forwarded because this was when y'all decided to get married.
Yeah.
And when you mentioned that to me, I'm thinking, to myself. And you said, well, what do you think about that? And I remember my first response was, well, you're knocking at the door of 50. And I think you might be considered an old maid. And then I knew he had to be special because you always say it can't be some Joe Blow or however you put it. And I trust your decision on choosing somebody.
Because before that, you had never met anybody. I mean, I never had
Nope.
There was nobody to meet.
Nobody.
There was nobody to meet.
Keisha was friends. A boring teenager.
Well, what's boring?
I mean, she did.
I'm here.
You did nothing. I mean, and I think that was a good thing.
I was about to say, you want drama?
Oh, you had some drama too.
Yeah.
But it was, I'd hear nightmare stories from people. And I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking, wow, this, and that's with all three of my kids.
Yeah.
Now it was not, and that's where I was really blessed.
Yeah.
They're not perfect.
Right. But you didn't have devastating, traumatic.
And I remember one time Paul said, Carolyn, if all you have to do is argue with them by cleaning their rooms, you don't have a problem. And that was the problem.
I want to pause just to acknowledge Paul. Paul is my stepfather, was my stepfather. He is with the Lord now. But I have to acknowledge how much he brought to our lives. And although I was in high school and then in college, when I went to the University of Houston, I lived on campus. So I was no longer in a home, but just being able to go back home and feel safe and comfortable. And then I liked going home. I liked being able to go because he was a blessing, even though it was a blended family thing to some degree, but he brought something I think we needed at the time that he came.
Yes.
I really do. And I think now, since we were talking about me getting married and everything, there are certain ways that I feel like Ree fills in some piece. You gave him the barbecue pit, and I really appreciated that because I know it just seemed like a special kind of some connection, even though he never had the chance to meet him. There's still that sense of the presence, and he came at just this right time for me personally, but then just as a blessing in that way to the family.
I remember the day your brothers met, Ree.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Brandon called him,
Mm-hmm.
and he said, "Mama, the only person who was missing was Bubba."
Yeah.
And he said, he's just like us. I say, "Oh, so he's crazy too."
Little throat,
Which,
little throat.
but it just, and I remember one day I say, "Ree, are you sure you're not one of my children?" He said, "If I am, me and Keisha got a problem."
Such a
But
crazy.
it
Okay.
was just it.
So I appreciate that. Tell me a little bit about then what it was like, because you said something at one of my bridal showers. You said, "I've always wanted to be mother of the bride." So the preparation and in the moment, what was that like? Because did you ever think, honestly, yes or no? Did you ever think I was gonna get married? Yes or
No.
no? So you never thought it was gonna happen, and then all of a sudden you're attending 2 bridal showers and getting ready, and you're seeing me get fitted for a wedding dress and all of the stuff that goes with that. What was that like?
Shock, because you didn't talk. You weren't one of the young ladies who was always talking about when I get
I
married
know, huh?
and all this
I
stuff.
know.
I have another funny thing. One day, your brothers and some of their friends were playing. What do they call it? They played the dozen, like you talk
Oh
about
yeah,
each
yeah,
other.
yeah, yeah.
And one of the guys said, "Yeah, man, I'm going up there to your sister, and I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do." And JD told him, "Man, you ain't gonna get nothing but saved."
I've never heard that. I never knew that.
Oh,
Well,
it
he
was
wasn't lying.
right, right. It was
That's
funny.
funny.
It's just see that's the way our family
Oh yeah.
was.
Oh yeah.
There were now when you left for Virginia, I was the only female in the
Right.
house.
So all 3 of them doing that was
Oh
probably
my
crazy. Because I got
goodness.
tastes of it. I got pieces of it, but yeah, it was
And here I'm the lady of the house, but I was told, well, you need to go another room because we talking.
that guy talk.
That
Yeah.
guy talk, but
Hmm.
and it was something that the boys needed.
Right, right. That's why
They
I
needed,
say to God be
So
the glory for Isaiah Paul, because the timing and all of that. So shout out to Bubba, y'all. Shout out to
yeah.
Bubba. So now we are here and we are in a marriage, and I'm approaching 50, and it's Mother's Day, and you have grandchildren now.
Yes.
Um wow. You have
Yes.
grandchildren. You're a grandmother.
Yes. And make note, I did announce I am not your typical grandmother.
Okay.
If you want cookies, bring your cookie dough, and there's the
Oh my
oven.
gosh. I'm the come over bake cookies auntie, but this not the come over bake cookies grandma. And no shade, because that's fine. Everybody does their thing.
And
Did you ever imagine, or when you thought about or imagined how your children would be when they became grown adults? Did you have any clue or hint that my life would be like this? Some people talk about their kids and they saw something in them early, or they groom them for a certain space and a certain activity. What would you have imagined, or what did you think about as you saw us coming up?
I didn't expect you to be married.
Yeah, you said that
I
before.
didn't expect you to be in Houston.
Oh, really?
No, I just,
Where was I going to be?
I don't know, but you were going to go
Somewhere. Just
somewhere,
gone.
just somewhere. I mean, you'd come visit,
You're right.
you
Yeah,
know,
you're right. I would have been gone if I had
right.
not married.
And my boys, They surprised me. Yeah.
Yeah. We did have a good connect. We definitely had all the regular, normal sibling stuff, but for the most part, I think it was
And you know
always
what?
a good
That
thing.
tickled me sometimes.
Oh yeah, you used to watch and
I'd
laugh. I
go in the
remember
other
that.
room sometime and laugh because it was just me. I mean, I had cousins,
Oh,
and
but
I
watching that
didn't.
sibling interaction was
Yeah.
different, so it was funny.
And then
We were your TV
especially
show.
when you were trying to take charge.
Oh well.
But
So I'm excited. I am pleased. I am grateful. I'm grateful because I think there are a lot of ways that I gained so much. Of course, everybody has their own unique family of origin issues, and everybody has their own unique way of processing and working through that. But I will be honest and say I really gained a different type, maybe even a higher level of respect for you when I learned more about your upbringing.
mm,
It wasn't it wasn't the way I thought it I would learn about it, and it wasn't all that I thought that it was. But I really, really had a shift in a lot of the ways I began to see you and why you didn't want to make mistakes or you seemed timid to do certain things because your mother was harsh. So when I filtered everything through it, because I think you and I talked one time about how we are very different.
mm-hmm.
And it's not only because you were the only child, but I think some of that is because of that relationship. And I became who I am because you became who you are. And it freed me up to be, I guess, the person that could ask for whatever she wants to ask for or to think about possibilities.
You know, I and every parent wants so much for their kids. And I go back to nursery school when
Mm-hmm.
y'all were in that and everything. And I knew you wanted more
How did you know that?
because you were always you never shied away from asking questions when you were able to talk. Um,
I
and
just don't remember that.
then we used to always say, "Ooh, Keisha strange. She weird." You know, I grew up to realize, no, you were yourself,
Oh, mm,
and um,
mm,
it was just something about you that I knew. And I'm thinking, and it used to bother me. I said, this is somebody who wants to be somebody. What can I do to help her? And your aunt told me one day, she said, you be around here worrying about what's going to happen with Keisha and everything. She said, God already got it mapped out.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, for sure. For sure. I mean, we didn't know what that would be, but
Right,
yeah,
but
we do know
I
that's for sure.
and you, so many things you'd say. You had people in the family saying, if Keisha ever tell you something about me, don't tell me.
Mm.
And I think God would talk to you at night. One day you came to you and you said, Mama, Brandon in trouble. I said, what? Brandon's sick. He can't breathe. And Brandon was outside playing. And I think it was the next week. I'm laying in the bed and Brandon's next to him, and I could feel the heat coming from his body.
Mm.
Not one thermometer in the house. I
Mm.
called his aunt. She rushed over, got the thermometer. His temp was like 104 or something. And we talking, and his aunt said, Carol, what is he doing? His hands had turned
Mm.
out. All you could see was the white part of his eyes. I grabbed him. She said, you want me to call an ambulance? I said, no, call the police. Tell them which way we're coming. We need an escort. I was not waiting for an ambulance.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until on the way back from the hospital, they treated him and told him I had to take him to his doctor next day. I'm holding him like this, and I hear all this rattling in his chest. And I'm saying, wait a minute, Keisha told me this.
Mm.
He had pneumonia.
Ooh.
And I took him to the doctor. And he said he had a seizure. I think about the day I was going in the hospital. They were going to put me in that Sunday for surgery. That Saturday you cried all day, and I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with her. And I remember I had you on my lap. I said, "Well, what are you crying?" She said, "I don't want you to go to that place." She said, "And you said, because I don't know what they're going to do to you." And I had to calm you down, and you went to sleep. Early Sunday morning, I hear somebody running through the house. You jumped on the bed, and you said, "Mama, you can go ahead on because it's going to be all right."
Mm.
You don't know what that did to me.
Mm.
And I said, God talked to her again.
Mm.
And you'd say things about people in the family. And I mean, and I'm saying, but Keisha, you told me your Uncle Pete was in trouble. He was in, but it wasn't major trouble.
Wow. I know we could go on. I will say this part though, and it's I appreciate you sharing it because some of those things I don't remember. Only a couple of times I remember that. But what I appreciate about you remembering it is because in this part of my life, and then maybe in the last, yeah, about the last 10 years, I've been paying more attention to my dreams. I've been paying more attention to even my daydreams when I'm wide awake because there are times I do sense things that we have different language for it now.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes there are just different words and language, and I'm not claiming to be a prophetess or
Right.
anything
And that's
like
what
that.
I'd explain to people.
Really?
Yeah. Tell them no, no,
No,
no.
but I think there are ways that unfortunately God does place gifts and certain things in us and as children when we're pure, when we don't have all this life experience, maybe no insecurities or fear. We just know it is what it is,
Mm-hmm.
and you run to your parents and you share. As we get older, we start learning new things. We start maybe shrinking back. Not that my personality dwindle, but you just may not have a place to unpack all of that. And then as I began to grow in the Lord, I started paying attention because I started journaling. I started connecting the dots when certain things would happen. And I always say my eyes are not big for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So when you become a seer and you actually see what's going on in environment, or you can kind of sense what happens, I appreciate knowing this isn't so new for me,
Right.
that there are some roots or there was a seed somewhere that maybe life and experiences and all of that kind of covered, or I got into just learning, education and school and being
Mm-hmm.
driven for all of that. But in the last 10 years for sure, I've been paying more attention, and I've actually started to pray more that I would be more discerning and better able to know exactly what is a dream that I need to pay attention to and keep, or just something I watched on TV. and
Okay.
and I
Okay.
went to sleep,
Right.
and now I'm starting to drive over the cliff or whatever. There are things like that that I'm paying closer attention to because I know now, as I've had in the last 10, even more than that, maybe 20 years. I'm thinking about when I was in Virginia, there were different pieces of things I would see, and I was just grateful recently that, oh, wait a minute, I remember now, this isn't that new for me.
Mm.
I can actually embrace this and lean in instead of trying to be weirded out or wondering what was going on. So I appreciate you remembering that because I don't
And I
remember all of
used
it.
to talk to your granny Stella about it sometimes.
Granny.
And she'd call you her old soul. And she said, Carrie, she aged before she came out. She'd always tell me that.
Old
And
soul, that was my name.
oh, now, this night, I wanted to wring your neck. They had, what do you call it? They were giving out the awards and stuff at school. Keisha be dressed. I'm running late. I'm coming home from work. Got home. Keisha not dressed. So you had to get dressed. So that you'd be on time. I dropped you off, and I went back home to get dressed. And when I went back, your dad met me at the door. Carol, you missed it. Keisha was number 3 in her class.
Oh,
And there was
yeah.
a fraction of points between the 3 of them.
Really?
That's what the counselor told me. And she said, she's getting some money. And I'm thinking, thank you, God, because she want to go to school and she needs some money.
I need some money.
Yeah. And when she told me that, that just, oh wow, it was a new day for me.
Yeah, I remember that. That was a good night. I don't remember the whole back and forth thing,
Really, and
but I
I
remember the
missed it.
surprise.
I missed it.
Well, you know what though? I promise you, I had absolutely no hint. I did not know. I did not know I was ranked there. I didn't. I had no. I was surprised. I was really, really like. Again, this is another reason why I love graduation season. I love how people can be surprised. I love just seeing them finish up and move on.
Just like in Virginia.
Yeah.
You did not tell me you were doing the stuff,
Yeah.
and this lady sitting behind me, every time, not every time, but the majority of the night, every time they were giving somebody some kind of acknowledgement, it was Lakeisha Barnett.
It wasn't that much.
It was to us.
Oh, yeah, right. See, okay.
And then the man who was doing the presenting, he came to talk to us before the program started. And he said he had been trying to call us. He said, because I just wanted to have something to say about her before I introduced her. And what did I say? She was weird. And what did he do? He got up there, and that's what he told this room full of people.
Thanks, Mom.
But he had called your name so much, and there was some award he was get
I
Keisha
don't
to
remember
us.
that my name so
Let
much.
me. Oh, it was, and he said this last presentation, this person, he said, "I'll forget it. Lakeisha, come on up."
No, he didn't say that.
Yes, he did. He said, "I'm just going to tell you, it's Lakeisha Barnett."
I don't remember these
And
things.
the lady behind me, she touched me. She said, "Did you know she was doing all that?" I said, "No,
Okay.
I
Well,
didn't."
praise the Lord.
And then
Praise the
when
Lord.
you get up there at graduation, and the dean, when you finish, she said, "Whew, I thought we were fixing to have a revival."
I do remember that part.
But you got, and you, and I asked you, I said, "Keisha, you didn't tell." She said, "I wanted you to be surprised." Well, I was surprised.
Okay.
But it was, I mean, it was good. It was
Yeah, it
good.
was good. It was good. Yeah,
And then
those were
when
good
we
years.
surprised you and came, we took a vacation, drove to
Yeah, that was
Virginia.
cool.
When you came over there, I knew y'all were coming. I said, "Keisha, you didn't know nothing."
I
And you
did. I
went
remember
back
that.
and got your journal where you wrote
That's
in it
right.
that we, and Paula and I said, "How did she know that?" I said,
See,
"Hey, I don't know."
I pay attention to things.
Then she said, "When we going shopping?"
Oh, but I do have to ask this question. What is it like having a daughter as a preacher?
Wonderful.
Oh,
Big,
really?
yes.
Oh.
I learned, well, I learned from everybody who get up there and say something. I remember one Sunday after Paul passed, um, I said, "Dr. Cosby, I haven't missed a service since he passed." I said, "And I don't care who's up there."
Mm.
He said, "But are you listening to us?" I said, "Oh, yes, I'm listening."
Mm-hmm.
And that includes you. I have learned, people think it's strange for me to say I'm learning from you.
Mm. Okay, praise the Lord.
But to parents, you can learn from your children,
Yeah.
you know. But
Okay.
it's really,
Okay.
it's good.
So how was this? How was this moment? Me asking you, sitting here, talking about things we didn't even expect to come up, but
One
then
question
still,
you didn't ask about
what I what,
about why did I have you tested? Oh,
oh yeah, so we talked about a lot of education stuff because
mm-hmm.
that's what I did for most of my life. I
Yeah.
was in school from the time I thought about this. From the time that you put me in little L's, remember that?
Mm-hmm.
From that time all the way through two master's programs, I was in school nonstop, no break.
Mm-hmm.
And then I finally got out, got a job, and started working. But one of the things I remember learning in junior high, and that was in junior high. I don't know if you had me tested in junior high. Maybe it was in elementary school, but I
Mm-hmm.
remember being in the advanced class in junior high. And I did not know that I was in advanced classes until we got our report cards. And saw, you kids comparing report cards or whatever. Back then, we had these little pieces of paper, and it indicated that I was in what they called at the time pre-IB, and it was just some letters. I didn't know what that meant. So I'm in these classes, and I remember the little girl now. Her face is still in my memory. And she said, "Oh man, they cussed back then in junior high too." So she said a color word. She said, "Oh, you smart," and I didn't know what that meant. And it wasn't until later I realized what it took for me to get into those classes. And you had me tested, and obviously I did well enough to be placed in the advanced classes, but I did not know it. So I started. I don't know. I just felt some kind of way about that. Like, why not tell me, or why not let me know what I was being prepared for?
Okay. I pulled rank on you. Like y'all
Yeah,
used
you
to tell
parent,
me,
yeah.
yeah. And because I don't know why I thought you would have questioned more. Why do I need to be in this? So I just went on whatever I had to sign everything. And then the day came, you came home and you said you didn't want to be in that
Yes,
anymore.
yes,
But
I remember that
and
very
and I'm
well.
gonna tell you, I was willing to work with you. If
Why? But
you
do you
could
remember why?
give me, I know the reason you gave me.
What I said?
I can't eat lunch with my friends.
I remember it was something very, very shallow. I do
Yes.
remember it was because I
And
wanted to be like the regular kids and be able to
right.
go eat lunch and do other things that they get to
But
do.
I was willing to work with you until you answered me that way.
Really?
That's right. So I just took myself over to the school and I talked to the teacher, and she said, "Now, I know they're up late at night. I know we give them a lot of work, but
Mm-hmm.
if we didn't think they could handle it, we wouldn't do it." And I said, "That's why I put her in it. If I didn't think she could handle it, I wouldn't have done it." I say, "But she doesn't want to be in it anymore." She said, "Well, it's up to you." I said, "Oh, no, she's in it.
Yeah, I was
She's
there all
staying
the
in
way
it."
through.
I said, "Because if the only reason she could give me was because she couldn't eat lunch with her friends, that was not good enough."
What's funny is that you told me. What's funny is that you said when I was born, all I need to do is eat and, and stay dry. And my husband would talk about me now because I eat, even if I seem slim, I am all. And then remember, my brothers call me snacky because I'm
Mm-hmm.
always looking for snacks. So
But
whatever.
that just was not acceptable.
Yeah, and I
And
appreciate that. I
I
appreciate it now.
and I told the lady, I said, "No, no, no, she's in it. She's staying in it." And today, I'm glad I
Oh,
pulled rank
absolutely.
on you.
I am too. I am too. And I would tell you even further than that. When I think about it, I think about that's part of the reason why I believe it enhanced my drive. There's a certain level, like the teacher said, I think I know who you're talking about, but when you get used to operating at a certain level, it becomes your norm. So you don't
Right.
know that you are excelling. It's just, like I said, I didn't know where I was going to be ranked. I didn't know what I was doing was something special. I was just kind of
I
cranking it
can't
out.
remember the teacher, but she said, "Oh, I'm so glad you made that decision." She said, because she would have done okay going to the lunch time with her friends.
Mm-hmm.
She said, but she would have slacked up.
Mm-hmm.
She said, and
Yeah. But I
and
appreciate it now. I really do, looking back, because I
I
know I
think
have a
you
drive.
do, and
Absolutely.
right,
Absolutely.
and you just
So I'm glad you decided to do this. How was it for you?
fine,
Good. I
fine.
appreciate it.
I'm
And
glad that I was able to say something that you didn't remember, and
oh yeah.
I, because it's important to me. It feel
Okay.
it just
Well,
mm-hmm.
so let's this become, because I know we talked a whole lot about me, and that's the
Mm-hmm.
birthday part leading up. But I who better to give a peek behind the scenes of who I am in my life than my mother. And since you have both of us on camera, you see how we look. Everybody said, I appreciate you doing this. I'm looking forward to what more happens over these next few months as I approach the big birthday. But more than that,
50, 50.
don't say it a lot. Don't say it a lot. It'll come
But that's
faster.
great. But no, I'm just glad you're telling your age these
I know
days.
I didn't for a long time, but I got to a place also where I feel like, as I started reflecting on it, I have, first of all, I don't think I look the 50 that people
No.
think. So that's the reason why sometimes they still try to treat me like I'm not grown. So
Mm-hmm.
it's part of the reason why I started letting my hair gray and like, wait a minute, I've been grown a minute. Don't trip. Let's
Right.
come back and deal with it. But then also I was thinking the celebration of my 25th anniversary of preaching. So I have a silver and a golden year,
Wow.
all in the same time, about a month difference. And to me, this is a big deal because a lot is happening in the world, a lot is happening in just life in general. And I took on the whole attitude, especially when I was in between church jobs. I call that my wilderness season.
Mm.
I took on the attitude that I was going to always celebrate my birthday big. Some people may think it's a bit much, and I'm not a self-absorbed person. I think, would you say yes or no? You can tell the truth, tell it all.
No, I don't think you like. Maybe that's the part. I love celebrating my birthdays.
Oh yeah, so
So
maybe we
maybe
like
that's what.
maybe we the same with you. But I don't think I'm super like self-absorbed in that way. It's because I celebrate life. It's a
Mm-hmm.
birthday, and every birthday is a blessing. But when I was in that very lean season, I made a commitment to myself. I wasn't going to wait on anybody else to celebrate me. I was going to make sure I could celebrate me because there were just a lot of things going on and it was so challenging that I didn't have the type of celebrations. And to be honest, some of that, look, I'm about to blame you, was your fault because you spoiled us. You spoiled us with great birthday parties and homemade beautiful
Ooh,
birthday cakes
that
and
I made
surprise party
myself
and all
sometime,
that
and
stuff. So
oh
I
my
mean, birthdays have
goodness.
always been big for us.
Yeah,
So when I got
yeah,
to a place in life as an adult, and then as a single woman, for sure, you don't have a significant other. I was like, I'm not going to wait on anybody else. This is my life, so I have to celebrate it. It's my life. I have to celebrate it. I have to be grateful. I have to give God praise. If nobody else does, I'm going to be the one to do that. And it's not about even looking for gifts because my last
right.
birthday, I had
The
an
prayer
event. Yeah,
breakfast.
we had a prayer
That
breakfast.
was
I was trying to
wonderful.
give away stuff to other people. So this isn't about me for the sake of saying, oh, look at me. It's a way that I like to celebrate life and highlight the goodness of God, the history, the experiences. And again, who better to help me than
And
my
I
mama?
guess that's where we kind of like, because I remember my 60th birthday.
Right.
Oh
Had a
my,
big party then. We
big
baby a
party.
party
And
at
wait,
75.
it wasn't about gifts and everything, because I
Exactly.
was getting in the car. The gifts were still at the place.
Oh, right.
And then, oh my God, last year, that y'all
Yeah. We
just,
surprised her with a good party.
oh my goodness.
It was like a kid. She had a like a dream
I,
come true
it
piece.
really, it
We
really,
surprised her.
I can't believe Brandon kept a secret.
Yeah, we helped.
But
We kept that one.
it was good. But it's just, I have enjoyed, we've had our moments, but I have enjoyed being your mother.
Oh, that's awesome.
I have.
That's
And
awesome.
I'm still enjoying it. Because we've had some silly times, we've had some crying times,
Right.
but we're still
That's
here.
normal. That's very
And it's
that's the
still
life.
not the nightmare I've heard from other
Right.
people.
Right.
So I'm just
Well, happy Mother's Day.
thank you.
Happy Mother's Day, and I'm praying that the rest. Look, my next chapter obviously will be a part of your life because I'm always a part of you.
Right.
So whatever else you were surprised about in my life, tell me, because there are always things to come. You didn't think I'd be
Yeah.
an author, but then there's that the salsa
And I've
dancing.
started reading your new book.
Oh,
I've
ooh,
look,
shameless plug from my mama.
I've had it a few weeks. I mean, when it came
Really?
out on Amazon, I just bought
Well, thank you,
it.
thank you, thank
It's
you.
just, it's really fun being
Good,
your
good.
mother.
I'm glad you
It's
can say that.
fun. It's fun. Even the times I cry about everything, but it's fun.
Good.
It's fun.
I'm glad you got. I'm glad you got what you wanted.
Thank you. I did. I
I'm glad you
did.
got what you wanted, and I'm grateful. I'm happy for you. So as we wrap up, I want to thank you again. I'm looking forward to seeing what else happens in the year to come and all of that. Oh, got to drop this little tidbit. So my birthday is September 23rd. Now that we know I'm about to be 50, you can do the math. I was born in 1974. Just an interesting little peek about our birthdays because I know I am 9/23/74, and my mother is 3/23/47. That was cool.
Yeah.
That was really cool. So thank you much, Mama.
Hey,
Appreciate
this has
you.
been good.
I'm glad. Then you'll come back another time, maybe?
Maybe.
Ah!
It might be one of my quiet times.
Right. I have to give her like 85 days notice. Oh my goodness.
But that's all right. I did it.
Yes.
And it was nice. I enjoyed it. It just brought up a lot of stuff I like thinking about.
Good. Good.
See that's and with my kids, it's a lot of stuff. I have to just lay in my room sometime and start laughing. Cause y'all did some stuff.
Yep. This is just one edition, and I hope that you will stay with me on this little journey as I reflect and bring some very special people in my life to you. I can't move forward in celebrating this milestone birthday without also appreciating the people who helped me to be the person that I am, who helped me to appreciate life, who gave me life and then helped to shape who I am in life and grow with me. Well, I'm just going to leave that hint right there. I just want you to stay tuned. And remember, if you haven't already, you need to subscribe, like, and share. Pass this on maybe to a new mom, maybe some siblings. Maybe there are some things here that remind you of your family. Whatever the case, I want you to stay intentional. Be intense about this intensified life and enjoy your adventures with God. This is Dr. Lakeisha B with Intensified Life TV. Oh, and my mama.
Bye.
Don't forget to leave your comments. Have a wonderful Mother's Day. God bless. And we'll see you next time.
This was good.
So,
Nope. What you don't want to say? Well, you wanted to say something? Oh.